Let's bring in Javier Farje. He's a Peruvian journalist and historian. He joins us live from London. Javier, good to have you with us. So we know that Fujimori had been seriously ill, as Lucia was saying there, for some time. What's your reaction to his death, and how will ordinary Peruvians be feeling, given that he was such a divisive political figure?
Well, as your correspondents have said, he's a controversial figure. Many of his supporters believe that he single-handedly finished off a Shining Path, this Maoist guerrilla movement, which is technically not correct because the arrest of the leadership of this organization in September, actually 32 years ago now, in September 1992, was conducted by a small, obscure group of intelligence officers who behaved behind the back of the president. But he took the credit for that arrest, and he lived with that as his main sort of a flagship, which is, as I said to you, incorrect. It was not due to him. During his government, as you say, as your correspondents have said, many people were killed and made disappeared. A group of paramilitary group called the Grupo Colina, the Colina group, conducted a series of massacres in universities and poor neighborhoods of Lima. Many of the members of this group were imprisoned. And we mustn't forget his intelligence chief, who is behind bars as well, Vladimir Mortis.
Yeah, I mean, as you say... Yeah, as you say, Javier, his supporters say he saved the country from the Shining Path armed group and even economic collapse. But critics say he abused democracy and committed atrocities. That's the point you're making. Despite all those controversies, though, many people say he did bring about some stability and economic growth to the country.
Well, he implemented neoliberal policies when he took over in 1990. He continued until he lost power in 2000. He abolished many of workers' rights in Peru. Unions were weakened because of his work. He worked very closely with the International Monetary Fund. So, yes, he implemented neoliberal policies which implemented in many ways poverty in Peru. But at the same time, he created macroeconomic stability in the country. And many of the presidents which follow him, have actually followed the same kind of policies. So in a way, yes, he brought stability. And after the Shining Path were defeated, more investors were able to go to Peru to put their money there. However, many people became poorer than they were before during his government, and many workers' rights were totally abolished. So there is also this controversial element of his economic plan.
And Fujimori was controversially released from prison last year on humanitarian grounds after serving, I think it was about 16 years in jail of a 25-year term. There was huge criticism, Javier, at the time from the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, from victims' families. Many people say, look, he should never have been pardoned.
Yeah, well, the first time he was sort of amnested was in 2017, and he was released in 2023. As you say, rightly so, the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights questioned this decision because they believe that he should have served all his sentence in prison. They reckon that he had enough medical care within the prison to serve his whole sentence and being looked after by by doctors and nurses and all that. So there was a huge controversy in relation to that. Obviously, his followers celebrated this. They believed that he should have never been put in prison in the first place, but this created a huge level of controversy. Now, he said, as your editor said in Santiago de Chile, he promised he was going to stand for the elections in 2026. It was very doubtful because his illnesses were very serious, and he was, as you can see now, he has actually passed away. He was very, very ill, but he was always the power behind the throne when his daughter, Keiko Fujimori, took over the leadership of his party, and she lost 3 elections consecutively, but by very narrow margin. So she said not long ago that he was going to be the candidate in 2026. It would have been almost impossible because he was far too ill. But he was still very active in social media, as you say, and he will remain a controversial figure in Peru, and it will be some time before a right assessment of his presidency and his time as politician will be made fairly.
Javier Farje, really good to get your thoughts and your analysis. Javier, thank you very much for talking to us. Thank you.